we've got Silver Tower, Warhammer Quest, and I'm really excited.
That's an understatement, Sam.
I bought everything.
You could possibly buy on Silver
I went to Games Workshop and said, give me everything that you've got that's Silver Tower related. So we've got loads of really cool unboxings to do. I've got a hell of a lot of painting to do, and then we've got loads of games and actual videos to do on playing the game, haven't we? Mm-hmm. You're not as excited yet?
I am. I think I'll be excited when I've played it. I've heard a lot of good things about Silver Tower, but I'll be honest, I've not even seen inside the box of one of these.
That might change it then, as soon as you see what's inside it. So we'll start opening it. Lovely box. Phil, how does this box feel to you?
Let me see.
Because you like your boxes, don't you?
It's got an apple thing going on for it.
It's always the apple thing.
It's got a best thing about Silver Tower.
The box. Okay, you can remove it now.
Oh, it's good. Wow, it's a full box.
It is a full box, and there's so many models in it. That's what I was saying. This is just the first box. We'll get things out of the way first of all. So we've got dice.
Oh yeah.
And there's loads of different coloured dice, and the way that the game works depends on the dice that you use. I haven't got into it fully, but at the start of every game you have these purple dice, and you roll those, and then you put them to one side, and that dictates what you can do in the game. So,
okay, is that like the Zeech dice then?
I think they're called
they brought
fate.
out some, fate dice.
Yeah, so they're all your fate dice. You rolled those, and if you get any duplicates, bad things happen. So you want to try and get as many unique numbers with these dice as possible, otherwise something bad will happen.
Okay.
So you might get, if you roll 3 4s, you put those 3 4s to one side, so you don't get to use them as extra actions, and then a little minion might pop up and start hindering your adventure. So it's quite cool that they put that in there. So the coloured dice do actually mean something, it's not just pretty colours. So we'll get those out of the way. Bases, we've all seen bases before, so we'll get those out of the way. But there are different size bases, everything you need for all of the models are in there.
All your base belong to us.
Yeah. Now this is something that I love. And I'm loving cards at the minute. If you release a game with cards, I'm pretty much sold. Each one of these characters has one of these cards, which tells you all of the abilities that you need in order to play it. This guy, the Excelsior War Priest, it tells you what weapons he's got, what ability he has, and then what you need to roll to hit and how much damage it does, exactly the same as it does in Age of Sigmar. However, you need to use dice to actually use these abilities.
Okay.
You roll at the start.
So there's a random element to what? Every game or every turn?
Every turn. So the way at the start of your turn, if you're playing this guy, you'll roll 4 dice. If you have, every time you take a wound, you lose one of these dice points. So say you've not taken a wound, you roll 4 dice, then you put the dice on here with what numbers you've got.
Okay.
If you want to use your Warhammer, you need to use 1 dice that's rolled a 1 or more.
Okay.
If you want to use Light of Sigmar, you need to use one that's rolled a 6. So it's quite cool that depending on what you roll, depends on what you can actually do ability-wise that turn.
And you said you take a dice out for each wound, so the more wounds you take, the less abilities you can pull off.
Yeah, the less actions you get.
Right.
And each one of these is completely different the way that they play as well. So this War Priest, if his ability, Sigmar's Boon, which is this one on the 3-up, if it heals 2 wounds in a turn, you gain 1 renown, which is effectively XP. The more renown you earn, the more experience you get, and then you get to roll on skills later on. So this guy, if he heals stuff, he gets more experience. There's one for each character inside here, and I'm not sure, here we go, yeah. This is an extra bit that isn't in the box. This is how excited I got. So this was £15, and you get something like 46 additional cards to use. You've got everything. Assassins, Dwarf.
Is my silver net in there?
I don't know. Maybe that's the only one. Out of all of the heroes, you've got a lot of heroes, but I'm pretty sure.
Oh, of course, so it's heroes based, is it?
All the heroes, yeah. So you've even
okay.
got Beastmen in there. If I bought that for £15, you do, however, get the 6 heroes that come in this box. So we'll get rid of this expansion for now. But if you're like me and you like little cards and extra things to take around with you, they're amazing. Okay, so we've got the Night Questor, the Dark Oath Chieftain, Mistweaver, Tenebral, who's like a really cool assassin. His ability is like he teleports across the board and then he gets double damage if he does that well or something. Dwarf, and your healer. So they're all the characters that come inside the box, and we'll go through the sprues in detail in a moment. This guy is, I forgot his name already. Thaumaturge.
Thaumaturge.
I'm going to call it Ogroid.
Ogroid.
He's just Ogroid. Really nice model, and I'm very tempted to use this guy for Golden Demon this year. Huh?
Triumphant.
What do you mean triumvirate? You mean just triumvirate? Are we going back to that argument again? Because I can't say Thaumaturge.
Ogroid.
Ogroid, yeah, what's wrong with
Alright,
Ogroid?
no, come on, it's alright.
Phil! It's bullying on a weekly basis.
You pick on me all the time.
Right, Ogroid. Now this guy is huge. He's a really nice model. I'm going to try and get him done for Golden Demon this year, if I get time, because there's loads of really nice looking parts to the model that I want to try and do. Like the skin, he's got all of these runic pieces on his arm, on his skin areas, and I want to try and paint tattoos over it as well.
It's much bigger than I expected. This is the first time I've seen the model on sprue. I mean, I've seen pictures of it, but I have to say I didn't expect this guy to be this big. It's a nice model. So much so I want to have a go at painting one. But that is, yeah. Again, in terms of value for money, there's a lot of plastic in this kit, isn't there?
Yeah,
You're getting a lot of models.
£95,
Yeah.
and you get, I think there's something like 50 different models in there. And
Wow.
there's 6 character models. There's the Ogroid, and there's 2 other like monster boss characters, I'm going to say. And then after that, there's a bunch of minions. But just on a character level, you normally pay 15 quid or 15 to £20 for a hero model from Games Workshop.
Yeah.
Once you've bought 6 or 7 of them, you're already at the £95 that you'd normally pay, or 4 of them. Value-wise, it's worth picking this box up, even if you just want a few of the characters, because they're worth grabbing at that price. We're going to go on to the characters. Our first one is the Dark Oath Chieftain, and he's a really cool-looking barbarian. He's got a giant sword, and he's like a classical Conan character, really.
So, is this guy? I know it sounds daft in binary terms, but is he a goodie or a baddie? This is one of the characters you can play, but he's a chaos dude, isn't he? Is he?
I'm not sure.
Is he? I mean, it says Chieftain is chaotic.
Chaotic and Bladeborn, so he probably is a Chaos Warrior, but he's...
So there are Chaos Warriors that get dragged into this. It doesn't have to be the classic good factions that are the heroes.
Heroes from everything. So you've got the Beastmen,
Right.
and you've got Lizardmen, and you've got Rats. You've got everything. It's not your standard good and evil, which is great. That's him, and he's holding a Beastman head as well. And then the other guy we've got here is the Stormcast Eternal character, who is called the Night Questor. And what he has is your typical sword and shield, and he looks like quite a tanky character.
Yeah. Dynamic pose.
Really dynamic, and the
Clean
cloak.
lines to paint.
The cloak is really nice on this.
Yeah. Just flip it over. I want to have a look at the other side. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that cloak looks great. I like the way it tucks behind these shoulder pauldrons and things like that. That's great.
They're the first 2 characters. What have we got next? Next character we've got is the Fire Slayer Doomseeker, and this is a dwarf character. He's got a really cool Slayer hairpiece coming down here, and your standard dwarf axe.
There's a lot of detail. I'm stunned into silence in how much has gone into some of these character models. There's a huge amount of detail in here, isn't there? Little hand hags.
And is that a little key or something, or is it an axe?
Yeah, I didn't know whether it was a. Yeah, there's keys hanging here, isn't there, on his waist, or is that actually tied to the end of his beard? By the looks of it, it is, isn't it?
It's got
They're
keys
planted
tied
into his
into his
beard.
beard.
That might be something I could aim for.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? But
Give it another 6
no,
months.
again, just the details.
I love this weapon as well. I don't know what it is. It looks like a dagger, but it's got a nice hook on it as well.
Sickle dagger type thing.
It's a stabby weapon.
Stabby, sickly, carvy.
Yeah.
Stabber.
Carving up creatures. He's cool. Next, we have... This is Tenebril, I think his name is. Tenebril Shard, who is... It says he's a Bladeborn and Swift for his traits, but he looks very much like a Dark Elf.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at here, isn't it?
He's pretty much an assassin.
Can you imagine what's going to be like when this new faction comes out?
When they bring out new elves,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to remortgage the house. That's after the dwarves I've just seen.
Oh, let's not get started on the doors.
As well.
Focus
So-
on Silver Tower.
He's a really cool dynamic model. His weapons are awesome. He's hooks that come off the end of his wrists, and he's got these ones that curve backwards as well. So it's like he could stab something and then hook it and properly torture it, like a dark elf should do. And that's the thing I love about, especially talking about talking about Order. You've got these dark elves which are part of Order, but they're not necessarily good. They're still dark elves at the end of the day. They're still a little bit twisted and they like murdering and stabbing things, but they are part of Order as well, which is nice.
Okay, what's next?
And the last one before we go on to the other bosses is the Excelsior. And this is the healer of the group, the Excelsior War Priest, and he comes with a cool little Griffhound as well, which is in 2 pieces. A giant buck.
We like bugs.
We like bugs. You like bugs. Really nice cape again, another robe. Nice dog hair there, thanks Lola.
Oh, it's my dog.
Yeah.
It might be.
Khaleesi's are white, there's a Khaleesi hair.
Okay. there's a load there.
This is what happens, you put down the spruce for a second and they just get contaminated. So really nice cape, cool hammer, nice victory pose or healing pose.
And again, from a faction point of view, this is a sneak preview of humans. Yeah.
Free guild at the moment. I'm wondering whether they're going to release a whole new faction for humans.
Be interesting, won't it? See where they're going to take it. I mean, scale-wise, he's a big guy, isn't he? If this is 28 mil.
Yeah, he's not quite as big as we've got the Chieftain.
Yeah.
You can definitely see the difference between a Chaos model and what could be a free guild model. Has he got butt cheeks?
They're a bit flat. Assuming he's missing something.
Oh, he's got a loincloth that covers it. It's like they started sculpting it and then decided no. But you could add on that if you didn't want him to have a loincloth.
Cool. That's something you're thinking of modelling stuff?
Yeah, Golden Demon, butt cheeks. Okay, this is the last guy we've got to have a look at before we go on to all the minions, and he is the... I've got his name.
Gaunt Summoner.
Gaunt Summoner, that's his name. One of the Tzeentch sorcerers. He pretty much controls the trials that you've got to do in the game itself. So he summons all of the minions that you've got to fight. And he's got... There's one thing I've noticed with the Silver Tower is capes and cloaks and books. He's got a book as well.
We like books.
And he's got this nice feathered dress that comes down the front, very similar to the skink hero that you get. You know, he's got this, the skink. What's he called? Yeah. He's a priest. He's got a
Echo Gecko or something. Is it that?
Teto Echo. You're close. Echo Gecko. That's
Echo Gecko. Yeah.
And he's got a cool staff as well.
Is that his arm? That's actually his arm.
Yeah,
so it's a tiny,
skinny little Tzeentch thing.
Yeah.
Look at his face.
Yeah.
Is that
Should we start with? Look at his voices.
Voices are shouting.
Yeah, voices.
Right, that's all the characters done. Other than this, there's a couple of Skaven in here as well. The Death Runners. Wow, okay, we might need to zoom out for this. These sprues are packed.
Yeah.
First of all, this is one half. That's the other half. And we've got 2 sprues like this, absolutely jam-packed with models.
Identical sprues? Are they duplicates?
No, these are 2 different... Oh no. Duplicates.
Yeah, so you've got 2 sets of this, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's cool. So we've got 2 of this. If we go over the 1 sprue, you get double. This guy here is the Death Leaper, so that's one of the other big boss characters that you get in the game.
Skaven, yeah.
Yeah, he's a Skaven assassin. Really cool looking model. And he is quite dynamic, very similar to the assassin model that you can currently get.
Incredibly spiky.
Yeah.
There's a real risk of blood for blood clots putting him together, yeah.
We've got pink and blue horrors all over the place, so there's quite a huge one there.
Yeah, he's ginormous. I love all the detail here. Little sort of flamey, smoky fingers, tubes on the end of the great dagger.
Yeah. The pink and the blue ones are here. You've also got these little guys, which are the familiars.
Oh yeah.
They're tiny little things. You know what I was saying with the fate dice, if you roll wrong, you can get these guys spawn and start hindering your adventure. So you've got 4 or 5 different types of them.
Mm-hmm.
And there is also, you can't see it too well, these look like snap fit, or they're going to be put together pretty easily, but they're the Zangors. So the Beastmen mixed with the Tzeentch. They're pretty cool. And then on the other side, we've got the grot scuttlings, and again, they're in halves. They're like spidery looking goblins.
Yeah, there's 8 limbs, isn't there? There's sort of 4 legs and 4 arms, isn't there? So they are kind of goblin spiders then.
Yep. The weapons are really cool in here. I love that dagger. Like a twin bladed dagger that goes down in there.
How intricate the detail is on that.
Same again with this thing down here. It's like a sickle with the Tzeentch symbol on the top of it.
Again, for models that are essentially tokens in a board game, these are incredible, aren't they?
Yeah, minions that you wouldn't normally bother about.
Yeah.
I was never a fan of these acolytes, the Kyric acolytes, and seeing them in person, they look really nice.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do those, and I've seen some great conversions done online as well. You know, people are doing a lot of fun things with those models because they're just a great
base.
Yeah, exactly. They're a great base model, aren't they? But I mean, they're great as they are now. But there's a lot of opportunity as well to convert those and add extra bits of detail, or even just use them for different factions.
Head swap. That's what you do.
Classic head swap. Yeah.
So they're really cool. And then we've got flip it to the other side. And that kind of looks like the base of a 1,000 Sun helmet.
Yeah.
You could use these as 1,000 Sun guardsmen in 40k.
Not even that. You could actually use this as 1,000 Sun Marines just out of their armour. These are huge guys, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're ginormous. You put that alongside a guardsman, that would work.
Another one with a nice spear. This shield's really nice on the Zangor. And then this, I mean, just the detail. The level of detail on all these models is incredible. I'm quite impressed with that.
Yeah, mind blown.
So that's all of the sprues. The other thing that I haven't gone over in the box is the cards that you get. And I love my cards. And this is how you play the game by the look of it.
You don't know this.
I haven't, no. So you draw these through the game. So you get a bunch of cards. I could probably do a quick overview now on what you get in total. Now we've opened it. You've also got the tiles, actually. Now this is awesome. They're designed to represent different areas. You've got a really cool statue on here. These just pop out. Nice. I'm not sure if they're double-sided. They are double-sided.
Oh, wow.
And that's really cool. So that's the board that you use to put all of your dice on at the start of the game. So you have your cards on here, and then depending on what you roll, you put them in these different places. I haven't played it yet, so
there's a holding place for those.
And then you've got all these counters as well. I imagine they're wound counters. You've got this token, which I think is to represent whose turn it is to go first, and then you pass them around.
The artwork's incredible.
Yeah, the artwork's brilliant. That's the first tile that you get in there. It's all falling apart. Second one, we've got more counters. Again, I don't know what these all represent. They might be the amulet. So the trials, you're supposed to go through all of this and collect these shards of the amulet.
Right.
That's the mission. Once you collect them all, you pretty much win. And then you've got these, which are used to represent the gates between each of these portals.
So you step in from one portal.
Yeah, you can put that on there, and that will be the gateway through to the next portal. And there's a bunch of different parts here. Double-sided again. And you could, I mean, I dare say once we've played a few games and you got excited about this, the very next day you'll be building an MDF version or a 3D printed version of this, and we'll have all the different tiles.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things, isn't it? If someone had a laser cutter, they could map this artwork out and create like a 3D version of it, or like you say, 3D print it. There's a lot of detail there, you know, from a modelling challenge point of view. But saying that, you know, you could trace this around, couldn't you, and make your own board, or just make your own board inspired by it.
Yeah, as long as you've got all these squares.
As long as you replicate the grid system, you could kind of pretty much do what you want.
Second one. There's quite a lot of tiles here, actually. So the third one, you've got this. Looks like a library, like a Tzeentch library. There's all sorts of chaos-looking books in there.
I like our books.
I like our books. Got a corridor. Another corridor that's in the Tzeentch.
I've noticed the grid doesn't directly line up. This isn't a completely square grid. You know, you've got grid squares offset. But I suppose from a movement point of view, is it like you move by grids, do you? Is that the idea?
Yeah, I think you can move so many tiles.
You can kind of go 1, 2, 3.
On the other side, we've got another corridor with some crystals. These might be impassable. Anything with a black board where it looks like they're impassable, you can't go into that. Got another corridor or a bridge over here. And some more stairways. It's just really cool looking scenery, effectively, that you can place down, and you could rebuild this in any way you want. I like this. Like a summoning portal.
Yeah.
That's the third tile. And then the very last one we've got, looks like more counters down here. And a nice big room full of gold, which is definitely all you're after when you're doing this sort of adventuring. And 2 more corridors. And I don't know what that is. Massive portal
there, isn't there? So it's obviously a gateway.
And you've got more counters for that as well. On the flip side, more corridors. I think we're going to have to play this and do some games to figure out exactly what all of this does and how it goes together, but just looking at it, there's a lot of
the artwork is great, isn't it? That's the main thing we're looking at.
It's hard cardboard as well. It's not like it's cheap stuff that's just going to fall apart, so you wouldn't necessarily need an MDF board, but let's just have a look. I mean, I've just ripped that out and it's good quality card.
Yeah.
Doesn't even bend very well. That's brilliant. All in all, brilliant box. For £95, you get in 2 big sprues filled with minions, and then we've got all of the hero ones on top, which we've been through. So,
and obviously rule book.
The rule book as well, and that's got a bit of story telling you the background behind the Silver Tower. It's got the heavy metal display of all of the models that you can get that are in the set. And they're obviously all painted to the heavy metal standard, really good quality, and it goes through round by round telling you how to play the game.
Okay.
So it's quite straightforward. It's different to your normal games, but it does look quite simple. I think once you've played a couple of games...
Yeah, it doesn't look rule heavy, does it, by any means?
There's a few more rounds that you don't get in the other games in Age of Sigmar, but you know, you need some different rounds to make it different. And this is just telling you about the quests, about the amulet, and telling you how the actual game works. And then you've got the ongoing quest. So there's an app to download as well.
Right.
And you can track your hero's progress, because as you go through, like if you come round to mine and we play a game, you can have your hero with all of his skills that he's built up. If you go to somebody else's house, you can then take your hero and join in somebody else's game. So it's quite nice that they've done an app for that. The other thing which was really cool is this exotic adversaries, and that gives you rules for using other models like the rest of the Tzeentch models in this game. So you can use more stuff, and that goes in line with the hero cards. Obviously you've got your heroes that you can use in this game as well. There's a little bit in here now just telling you the background of each of the heroes that are in this box. So that's quite cool. And the artwork's nice as well. It's very fantasy, old fantasy based. And they're the 4 familiars: Tweak, Blot, Slop and Pug. And then all the rules for the individual minions as well. They're the main characters. Grot, Scotlings, Zangors, Acolytes and Horrors, and it tells you all of their behaviours and what they do when you generate them. And then on the back you've got a reference page which just explains all of the basics to you. Like you see this quite regularly, don't you, with all your charts and all the basics. Yeah. All your rules are in there, everything you need to play. You've got cool tiles, you've got cool sprues, you've got dice, you've got bases, and you've got expansions. So I'm really excited to play this. I know there's a lot of building to be done, but I don't really care. I'm excited to get it all done.
There's a lot of models in there, isn't there? If you want those painted up for the game, there's quite a lot of work to kind of get to the point where all of those are done.
Yeah, but once they're done, it's more adding heroes to it.
Yeah.
Which I really like. The fact that you can you've got all of your familiars, you've got all your all of your adversaries set up, and after that you can just bring a new heroes to it and challenge the trials again and go through it again and again.
Maybe we need to do a bit of a joint effort on the adversaries, get those done, and then you can spend some time doing your hero characters. Individual
heroes. I think it'd be good to see what people do with heroes as well, because although, say this card, Mistweaver, you could use the model for this, or you could create your own elf model that has a blade and could use those rules.
Yeah.
And you can then convert your own character to use in Silver Tower, and I think that's brilliant just for the options that are available on that. So all in all, brilliant set, tons of models, loads to do, and I'm really excited to get into it.
Another win.
Another win by Games Workshop. Well done.
Alright.
Yeah. See you again soon. Thanks for watching.
Bye.